We've got our formula here for axis of symmetry. So remember, in every quadratic equation, this is A, and then B, and then C, right? So the formula here, negative B. Which number is B right now? Negative 4. Now right now it's already negative, so if I want negative B, that would be negative negative 4. So what would that actually be? Positive 4. Okay. So our axis of symmetry, AOS, is x equals, we're going to put a positive 4, and then 2 times A. Which number is A right now? 2. So 2 times 2 would be 4. Well, let's go ahead and simplify this. What's 4 over 4?
1.
It's 1 whole, right? So we have a whole number. So what we have determined by doing this is that the axis of symmetry, the very center of our parabola, should be at positive 1. So now when we set up our xy table, and that really didn't take that long, right? It's a pretty quick way to find it. So when we set up our table, instead of putting 0 in the middle, like we were doing yesterday, we're going to go ahead and say, I calculated this to know that 1 should be in the middle. So now pick numbers on either side of 1. So I would say maybe 0 and 2, negative 1 and positive 3. So you build around the axis of symmetry. It's your center point. You want to build things on either side. So now we're going to go ahead and plug in just half of the numbers. And it doesn't matter which half you plug in. You know 1's in the middle. So just ask yourself, what's easier to work with, 0 or 2? Probably 0, right? What's easier to work with, negative 1 or positive 3? It's up to you. Some people like positives instead of negatives, but you only need to do half. Because you know if that's in the center, it's going to mirror. It's going to match. So let's go ahead and plug in 0. That's always an easy one to work with. So I have y equals 2 times 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 2. Hopefully you don't need to think too hard about this. There's a lot of zeros there. That's going to be 0, that's going to be 0, so all I have left is 2. Well, if 0 is 2 and 1's in the middle, then this must be a 2 also. We definitely have to plug in the 1. We have to plug in the 1 in the middle. So if we plug in the 1, what is 1 squared? 1 times 2? 2. Okay, so this one's a 2. And 4 times 1? 4, so I've got 2 minus 4. That's negative 2 plus 2. Should make 0. So there's a 0 in the middle there. And then it's up to you. Plug in the negative 1 or plug in the 3. Doesn't matter. Your choice. Which one do you want to do? She says 3. Let's do 3. All right. You don't have to write this out, but just follow along, do a little mental math with it. What's 3 squared? 9. Times 2? 18. So this first piece will be an 18. How about 4 times 3? 12. So we've got 18 minus 12. 6 plus 2? 8. So if that's an 8, this one has to be an 8 also. So it really doesn't take that long to find the axis of symmetry. It's a pretty simple formula, just plugging this in. The numbers usually don't get very large. You would expect they're usually 5 or less, really. And then you plug that number in the middle, build around it. Again, you can put any numbers you want around it. It doesn't have to be these exact numbers. You could go 5 in each direction if you want to, and do 6 and negative 4, things like that. It doesn't matter. You do whichever numbers you want to work with. I usually just pick the smallest numbers possible, because I think that's the quickest and easiest to plug in. So from here, you would go ahead, plot these points on a graph, connect them, and you should get a nice parabola.